What's up, you guys? This is HJ here, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is not the OLED version. This is actually the standard version that released right around 2017. At one point, I did have the light version, but I didn't actually review that because the light version that I had at the time, I didn't really like that version, so I actually took it back to the store. But the reason why I'm reviewing this today, so a long story short, a friend of mine gave this to me, and so I wanted to do a little review on it to show you guys what I think of the Nintendo Switch, having had it for about a day or two now. So the first thing I'm gonna want to tell you guys off the bat is that the Switch is an awesome handheld, and it's actually the reason why popular handhelds like the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck OLED, the MSI Claw, and the Legion Go actually exist. Now, granted, most of those except Steam Deck are running a full Windows operating system. Nintendo is kind of running custom sort of operating system that's designed only for Switch. And the one benefit here is that yes, you can play all your games. You have access to YouTube. For those who watch Hulu, you guys do have access to Hulu. Now keep in mind the retail price of this Switch starts at about $299, which for us here where I'm from, it's 320, around a couple cents extra, because we have 7-cent sales tax here, so you add that up, it rounds up to 320. But your state may be a little bit different, or country may be a little bit different, so check the pricing in your region to make sure you're getting the best deal on this. Now, the Nintendo Switch, I've already preloaded all of my games from my account when I had my Switch Lite, even some new games like Overwatch 2, WRC, Fortnite, Warface Clutch, and there are some games that I didn't even know Switch had, like City Skylines, for example. Not City Skylines 2, because, well, God forbid, Lord, I love Paradox, but for the love of God, that will be a decimating nightmare if they put the City Skylines 2 on Nintendo Switch right now, at least. But City Skylines 1 Nintendo Switch Edition is available up here. And for my Hulu watchers, you guys can download Hulu, I already said that, and YouTube is available. The one thing that's not available is an internet browser. So if you guys want to perform a hack to get the internet browser, there are countless other videos out there that tell you guys how to do that. The downside is when you do the hack, you have to undo it because doing the hack allows you to browse the internet and disrupts your connection to be able to connect to your other games. So then you have to go back and undo it every time you want to play a game. Kinda sad, but I mean, mostly mostly people who get Switches and handhelds like this that are locked down, typically they have another device with them that they can use to browse the internet and do their Discord and other stuff with, like S9FE, and I got my gaming laptop and my productivity laptop that I can take with me to school. In addition to this, that will supplement not having that Windows or Android operating system compatibility. And I also have some accessories on the left, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Now, I know what you guys came here for. You guys came to hear my impressions about the gaming performance. So I'm going to pull up Minecraft here and show you guys how this works. So the load times are a little bit slow. Now, granted, it's released in 2017, so you guys can't expect it to run as fast as, I don't know, a $3,000 gaming PC or even an Xbox Series S for that matter. But what you guys can expect is that it will load up. Games like Minecraft will run pretty decently. A lot of games that are not optimized, some of them won't hit above 30 FPS, which I mean, as long as it's playable, a lot of people don't care. I personally don't care as long as it's playable. But as you can see with Minecraft here, it just takes a split second to load, probably around 30 at best, and it's going to load up here, and I'll be able to use my controls. Moving around the map is pretty seamless. This camera doesn't give the thing justice as to how good it looks in game, even not being an OLED display. And I'm going to get to the dock in just a second. I don't have the dock because my friend didn't give that to me, but what I can tell you about the dock is that it's a very useful tool. And so you guys can see here, going around in game, it looks pretty fluid. It's not bad. I don't notice any stutters in Minecraft. When I do play games like, say, Burnout Paradise Remastered or Warface Clutch, there is a little bit of noticeable input delay sometimes. I've noticed it. I don't know if anybody else catches it, but when you shoot or when you move, it's a little bit more of a force that's required, more so than standard controllers. It might be the controllers that I have, but over time, you'll begin to notice that when you try and move in games like that are very heavily FPS based, you're not moving as fluidly as you would on a gaming laptop or on a console or on a larger console for that matter. You're moving normally, you don't notice it, but it's very tiny and it's really there. You have to really look for it, and you have to really, really be like very competitive in order to actually notice that it's there. That was when I was playing Warface. And as far as Fortnite, I haven't tested Fortnite. It runs at 30, but it's poorly optimized anyway, so I'm not gonna test that at the moment because right now Fortnite is kind of one of those games that if you play it on a Switch, you can do good, but it's gonna be kind of a little bit. It's not bad, but it's not very, very good either. It's kind of middle of the road. Now, I am going to talk to you guys about the accessory, the dock, which the dock is very important. So if you guys get this brand new or even off of eBay, if they're selling the dock with the device, typically what happens with the dock is you'll need to plug it in to a power outlet, and then you'll plug in your HDMI cable. Some models of the dock have the USB-A ports on the side as well, especially the OLED model. And what you'll do is you'll slide the switch in. I'll give you guys an example. If you guys see that USB-C port, you're gonna make sure that the screen lines up evenly with the middle of the cover, and that the Joy-Cons pop out of the cover like almost like symmetrically to the middle. And you're gonna insert it straight down vertically. You don't want to tilt it or anything. You want to make sure the screen lines up with the middle and that it goes down like I'm moving my camera. It goes straight down into the machine with the screen being perfectly aligned with the cover on the front. And that's how you want to slide it in, so you guys can avoid damaging your dock. And once it's docked, you'll be able to play on the TV, the dock and the Switch itself, so you can run the games off your TV. And then when you're done, you just take the Joy-Cons out of the slider, put them back on the Nintendo Switch, and then as soon as you lift it up, the screen pops back on, and it's like really instant. Like it's instantly on your game. Like it doesn't even require you to close it, none of that. It just pops up on your game, and you can if you're in an FPS shooter, you're in a break, you don't have anybody shooting at you, you just slide those in, pop it out, and your game is still right where you left off, and you just take off and keep on going and keep on shooting. But the other thing to keep in mind is some accessories like the Pro Controller. I don't have that either, but the Pro Controller looks kind of similar to the Xbox PDP wired controllers, but it's wireless. There are some wired controllers you can get for the Switch that require the dock, but the wireless one does not, and you can pair that up with the Switch. And what that'll do is that'll give you more of a standard controller experience, where if you're playing like a racing game or like Minecraft or something, if you're coming from an Xbox or a PlayStation, it just feels more natural to use one of those as compared to using the Joy-Cons on the side of the Switch. I'll show you. I use the Pro Controller looks very similar to a standard Xbox controller, but the form factor is slightly more compact in percentage, and it's a little bit more flatter and elongated from the top to the back. So it'll feel more like an Xbox controller than a Joy-Con controller, and that's really for those of you that prefer Pro controllers or that like the Xbox controller, or that really, really, really just don't like using Joy-Cons because it does not feel natural to you. If that's one of you guys, like it is for me, get a Pro controller. That's the best way to like emulate that Xbox experience. And if you are coming from an Xbox or a PlayStation, you'll notice that the Joy-Cons, the positioning of the buttons is inverted. So A is where B should be, B is where A should be, X is where Y should be, and Y is where X should be. If that is you that's on Xbox or PlayStation and you don't want your controls to be switched, you can go to controllers and sensors, go to change button mapping, and you can take the Joy-Con on the right Joy-Con and you can change the mapping so that when you are playing your game, it has the same Xbox A, B, X, and Y layout that the Xbox uses, that you don't have to get used to a new inverted layout for both or all of the buttons. And the D-pad is not inverted. That's not changed, but I just wanted to point that out, that these are different on the right Joy-Con, so you'll have to remap them to match your Xbox or PlayStation controls if you are used to those controls. Or let's say if you had a bad memory and you can't remember the controls, then just switch the controls. That way you'll remember them. And there's also a capture button here. I've already taken some screen captures, but if you're in a game and you want to capture a screenshot, you can capture them there with using in game using that button. You go to the album and your photos are here. You can select a photo. It'll give you options to share and edit. You can send it to your smartphone, which is a very tedious process. It takes like 5 minutes to get everything set up for each photo. Or you can post it to social media, and then if you have your social media page pulled up on your phone, then you could just do what I do and just save it from the social media platform to your device, and you'll have it forever, as long as you don't erase your files. That's what I typically do with my Twitter profile. If I post any images from a console, I just send it over to social media, and then if I want to keep that on my phone, I just download it to my phone, and I don't have to worry about going back and doing the same process over and over again, because that gets really annoying. Now let's talk about some accessories. Forgot the charger. It takes USB-C. This is not the standard Switch charger. My friend didn't give me the charger either, and I told her don't worry about it. I'm gonna provide my own charger. I'm using a 45 watt USB-C Samsung charger. It's supposed to be I think it's supposed to be around 60 something watts for the standard brick. It's a large brick. If you don't want to use the large brick, don't have to use the large brick. Just get a smaller power brick, preferably one that's 45 watts or better, because your games are going to draw a lot of electricity from the battery, and having a closer to 65 wattage, as close to 60 watts as you can get, is going to prevent your battery from draining while you're playing. So just make sure you guys do that. I know what they say, using your different chargers on the Switch can damage it, and that might be true, but if you use a wattage that's closer to the original wattage of the original power brick, it's not as bad as if you used a wattage that is higher than the 65 watts. I think what they're referring to when they say that is that if your wattage is higher, like say if I took a 150 watt power brick for a gaming laptop and plugged it into a laptop that has a 45 watt charging brick that came with it, you're gonna damage your battery in like 1 month because the power is overloading the battery. If you have a smaller power adapter, actually is like undervolting that adapter to the battery. So it's not as bad as going over the wattage. So I think it only really matters if you go over the right recommended wattage. If you're under it, it really doesn't make a difference. Actually, I think some cases it actually saves the battery because the battery doesn't have to pull that much through the current. So you guys can use the 45 watt USB-C charger, and it will generally work perfectly fine. You guys won't have any damage as long as you take care of your device. The battery should last you about a year or two, of charge cycles. I mean, I'm thinking about getting the USB-C big brick, but if you're in an area where the power outlets are like very small or you just don't have space, you might need to get a smaller brick. I'd recommend getting a smaller brick. This is the kit of accessories that I got. You guys can pick this one. It's called the Game Traveler Go Play Action Pack. You guys can pick one of these up at Walmart. There are some Target locations and some Best Buy locations that also have this pack. I personally would go to Walmart to get it because it's like $24.88 for the pack at our Walmart here. Or usually there's somewhere between 25 and 30, so it's not that expensive. And what it does, hardcover screen protector. If you get a screen protector, get the hard screen protector. Don't get the plastic film screen protector. That does nothing. Your screen will be broken on one drop. I promise you. Do not get the film one. Get the thick plastic screen protector, the hardcover backing, because those are thicker. They're like the ones you use on your phones. They're very thick, and it means that if you drop it and your screen hits the concrete or whatever, as long as it hits it face down and doesn't hit it at a high velocity, that screen protector will absorb all of that shock. Whereas if you get the film screen protector, the plastic sheet, the concrete will just go right through your screen and you will never be able to use your Switch ever again with the cracks in it. So do not get the plastic film. Get the hard screen protector. And this one also comes with the carrying case, which I have here. I'll get to that in a second. The headset's not included. I bought that separately. You can get this headset from Five Below if you have one in your area. Otherwise, a cheap Nintendo Switch headset or a cheap Dollar Tree Plus headset will suffice because not many people are going to be. It's not like a competitive esports world or PC where you have to have the best mic in the world. The Nintendo Switch, a lot of the time you're not going to be doing voice chat outside of the game. You're going to be doing a lot of that stuff locally in person. If you do any voice chat, it will be through the game itself. It will not be through a Nintendo Switch party chat like Xbox has. So you won't really need a very powerful mic. But this thing also comes with the Joy-Con cover grips, and I already have those on. They're clear on this pack, and they actually give you more protection for your Joy-Cons. And it's really good. Now, the way you put these on, you'll slide the Joy-Con out, you'll take the plastic off, be very careful where the clear plastic is, because the connectors, if you're not careful and you pry them off like really hard and like rip it, the glass plastic part will break off and you won't be able to use it. So just be careful pulling the plastic bit off. These are also interchangeable, so if you have other Joy-Cons like the Switch OLED Joy-Cons, which are all white, or like gray Joy-Cons or multicolored Joy-Cons, you can actually swap these off and then swap the Joy-Cons out and then put those back on in a different order. Like, if I personally wanted to get a white Joy-Con and a yellow Joy-Con and I wanted to buy them in like separate packs, or if I just wanted to buy like 2 packs of Joy-Cons and just mix and match them, I can do that. That is a very customizable way to have controllers. And that's actually one of the reasons why I like Switch, because you can actually customize it. I'm thinking about putting some stickers up here on the back in couple weeks once I figure out if I really want to keep this for a long term, which I really do. But that's the pack and the Joy-Con cover. Let's go over the case that came with the pack. So the case, if I can unzip this, I'm holding my camera with one hand. Hold the camera as I'm doing this overhead, so bear with me. So this case cover, it's a travel case, and what it has a pocket for the Switch, and it has a pocket for your game cards, and it comes with a micro SD card slot holder, and you can hold up to 2 multi-storage, which are capacity SD cards in here. These capacities, if you get a SD card for your Switch, you can get anywhere from 1 terabyte to 2 terabytes. The Switch will support it. Now, the thing about having the 1 terabyte and the 2 terabyte micro SD cards as opposed to the full size ones is those can be very expensive. But if you do get a 5 gigabyte SD card or a 1 terabyte SD card and you have like 2 of them, you can put them in here. And if you have like a third one, you can also put that one in the back of the Switch where the kickstand would go back here in the bottom. So you can see that. And what will happen is you guys can load your games onto the SD card. Whenever you need different SD card with a different set of games, you guys can just swap out, and when you're done with that SD card, you can swap out again, and just make sure you keep track of which SD card is which, because you can't write on those things to let you know what game it actually contains. I've seen people where if they have SD cards, they'll flip through them. If they can't find what's on it, it takes them like 15 minutes to get to the right one. So just make sure you keep track of which game card your stuff on. If you have multiple colors or if you buy SD cards, get different brands or get different colors, and that'll help you remember so you're not having all the same color. Like if I can get a SanDisk, and if I wanted another 512, I'd get a Lexar or a PNY, and then that way I'll know which one is which one has which games on it. And it also has spots for game cards, like physical game cards, like you know how consoles used to take discs, and the Series X and PS5 Pro still do? Or PS5, not PS5 Pro, that's not out yet. But these have game cards. And so at the top, there's a game card slot. Let's pop that open. Ironically, the game disc case is actually as big as a regular disc, but the card itself is as small as a micro SD card or a standard SD card anyways. And what's so weird about that is that they have all that extra space in the case itself that they could give us extras of like different like maps and stuff like that, or collectible items or stuff like that in the cases. And for some reason, it's just a big case. You look at the bottom, there's a tiny game card, and there's an instruction manual or the cover for the game and title that you bought, and that's it. They don't give you more than that. So I'm not sure why they did the big game cases. I mean, I guess it's easier to put on shelves. If game cards, you guys can always take the game cards you have the most play hours or the most interest in and put them in here for on the go storage. And you can always get a larger case too. Like if you have the dock and you have the game cards, you have the Joy-Cons, the Pro Controller, and the grip slider, you can take a larger case with you, and when you're not using the extra stuff with the Joy-Cons and the Pro Controller, all of that, you guys can take the smaller case. And the small case works well for if you're going on a short trip or a long trip in the car and you don't have the space to take a big dock with you wherever you go, and a lot of cables. And I think that just about wraps it up. Now, the last thing that I want to go over is the pairing for the controllers. For the Joy-Cons, the pairing switch is in the middle. For the Pro Controller, it's almost like an Xbox. The pairing is on the controller with a specific button located somewhere on the top or on the back, and that'll allow you to pair it to the device. Now, the Pro Controller, the pairing is a little bit different. You're not going to pair it via Bluetooth. I think you would probably pair it just like the Joy-Cons. And I believe, let me double check, I think there's a setting in here where you can pair it, where you can like actually pair it directly. Yeah, so you can pair it in here. You update calibration, all that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you can pair it, and it'll pair through the console. You don't have to use Bluetooth. And if you have Bluetooth headphones or a Bluetooth headset, you know, if even if it's like a PC headset that supports Bluetooth, because I've had a few of those, and if you have one of those, I mean, hey, Switch got a little bit of Bluetooth too. If you have a Logitech 435 wireless with Bluetooth connection laying around for your PC, and you're not using it on PC because you have a Quadcast S that you spent $150 on, me, the guy that bought a Blue Yeti microphone about a year or so ago, and returned that thing as soon as I got it, pair it up. Just let them cook. Pair it up. Pair it up, people. All right, I'm H. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.